Welcome to part 2 of this tutorial series. I do have in the description of the video links to all other pieces of this tutorial, which will be available in the description box. Also, for those who are interested in a PDF version of the pattern, I do have those available in my shop, which will also be linked in the description box below. Alright, and now for round 6, what we're going to do is attach our yellow yarn. I'm just going to go right into the same stitch where we ended. Alright, and then we're going to chain 3. And then we're going to double crochet into that same stitch where we attached our yarn. And then we're going to double crochet into the next 3 stitches. And then into our next stitch, we're going to put 2 double crochets. But do not finish off that last stitch. Here, we're going to attach and pull through our green yarn. All right. What we're doing here is we're working the colors in without cutting them off at each row. And then into our next stitch, we're gonna, with the green, double crochet into there. But don't go through your last 2 loops. We're gonna wanna bring back the yellow yarn and finish off with that and working our green underneath. We're gonna continue going around. So into our next stitch, we're going to want to put 2 double crochets. And then we want to double crochet into the next 3 stitches. And then we want to put 2 double crochets into the next stitch. But before we finish off, switch back to our green yarn by simply yarning over with the green and pulling it through. Then we want to double crochet into our next stitch and go through your first 2 loops, but we want to finish off by yarning over with the yellow. And so we're just going to repeat that. If you see right through here, all it is making a nice strict little chain or your stitch, your double crochet stitch, so that they actually follow right up with the color and everything onto the stitch, and then it's a clean transition right to the next color. And we don't have to tie off and weave in a whole bunch of ends all over the place. So we're just going to want to repeat with the yellow, 2 double crochets into the first stitch, 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches, and then 2 double crochets into the next stitch, switching over to the green, and then 1 double crochet with the green, switching over to the yellow, and just repeat that, going all the way around the entire piece. And make sure you keep working your green yarn, basically setting it here and then bringing your yarn up and around and over it to keep working it through so you keep it right along with you throughout the project. And then slip stitch into your third chain of your first chain 3 of your round in order to join. And yes, I do bring that green up and over, so I'm kind of like slip stitching around it also. And there we are. That is round 6. All right, now for round 7. With our yellow, we're going to chain 3. Yes, this counts as our first double crochet. And we're going to want to double crochet into that same stitch that we came out of. And then we want to double crochet into the next 5 stitches. And then we want to put 2 double crochets into the next stitch, but we're switching over to the green yarn. And then we're going to want to do 1 double crochet into the next stitch, switching back to the yellow. So in our next stitch, we're going to put 2 double crochets with our yellow. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet into the next 5 stitches. And then 2 double crochets into the next stitch, but on the second double crochet, switching over to the green, and then double crochet into the next stitch, switching back to yellow. And so we're just going to repeat that. 2 double crochets into the first stitch, 1 double crochet into the next 5 stitches, and then 2 double crochets into the stitch after on the second one, switching over to the green, and then 1 double crochet with the green into the next stitch, switching back to yellow. And we're going to repeat that going all the way around. And then slip stitch into your third chain of your first chain 3 of your round in order to join. And there we are. That is round 7. All right, and now for round 8, we're going to start with our yellow yarn. We're going to chain 3. And we're going to double crochet into the same stitch that we came out of. Then we're going to double crochet into the next 7 stitches. And then we want to put 2 double crochets into the next stitch. But on the second double crochet, we're going to switch over to our green yarn. And we're going to double crochet once into the next stitch, but switch over to our yellow yarn again. Then into our next stitch, we're going to put 2 double crochets. And then we're going to double crochet into the next 7 stitches. And then we're going to double crochet 2 times into the next stitch. But on the last double crochet, we're going to switch over to our green and then double crochet 1 time into our next stitch, and then finish it up by switching back to our yellow. And we're just going to repeat that going all the way around with our yellow. 2 double crochets into the first stitch, 1 double crochet into the next 7 stitches, and then 2 double crochets into the next stitch, switching over to the green yarn, and then double crochet into the next stitch, finishing up by switching over to our yellow yarn. And we're just going to repeat that going all the way around. All right, and now to finish off this round, what we want to do is slip stitch into that 3rd chain of your first chain 3 of the round in order to join. But whenever we pull up our loop, we're switching to the green and pulling that through to create our next loop. And there we are. That is the end of row 8.